Just taking up a few new things as well. First, it tracked your distance. Now, it tracks your stride length. It knows a breaststroke from a backstroke and checks for temperature changes to estimate when you've ovulated. When you're dreaming, it's measuring your REM sleep down to the minute. And it can detect a serious car crash, then call for help. So, yeah, a few new things.
Monday on ET, our Ricky Lake at-home exclusive, talking her next chapter and finding love again.
We're both in our 50s. I've never been happier.
And I see some other people that have never been happier.
Now, you may be asking why we've got Australian firefighters
no, we're not asking why the firefighters are here at
with
all.
us today. I knew you'd say that.
Yes, I'm accepting all of this, and I'm saying welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, I want you guys to introduce yourselves, please.
Hi, I'm Ricky. Hi, I'm Benny. Hi, I'm Greg.
Hi, I'm Ben.
And I'm happy. Now, if these fellas look familiar, then you probably have the Heroes of the Australian Firefighters calendar hanging on your wall. How much money was raised for this?
We've raised over $3 million so far in the 30 years that it's been going. So, yeah, we've raised a lot of money to great causes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Happening now.
Families from Uvalde woke up early to embark on a more than 8-hour round trip ahead of tonight's gubernatorial debate to remind voters that they're not giving up for change.
Our babies' lives are on that ballot.
And in just a little bit, I'll be back to help you prepare for the upcoming weekend, along with Hurricane Ian making landfall again, and how Tropical Storm Orlene in the Pacific will have an impact on our weather. See you in a bit.
And we are live at 5 from Comalander Stadium today. Give you a preview of the big game and our big game coverage tonight. Number 5, Johnson playing host at number 6, Brandeis. Find out what's on the line tonight. The news at 5 starts right now.
But first, we begin with late-breaking news. A verdict has been reached in a murder case that we've been following for a week in San Antonio.
The jury has found Jaron Garcia guilty of murder. Garcia shot and killed his stepfather, Mark Ramos, last year. His lawyers maintained throughout the trial that this was a case of self-defense and that he was forced to defend his mother, who had a history of being abused by Ramos.
But prosecutors argued on the night of the shooting that Ramos did not have a weapon on him and he was shot six times inside and also outside of the home. The punishment phase of this trial now underway, and he can be sentenced up to life in prison. So stay with KSAT.com for more as the story continues to develop.
Also new at 5, San Antonio police are asking for your help finding a man tonight who is wanted in connection with the shooting deaths of 2 teenage boys.
So those boys died September 18th on the city's east side, and we want you to take a look at your screen. That right there was taken from surveillance video from a gas station on East Houston Street. SAPD is saying that man that you see on your screen pulled up in a black Cadillac, which was the same vehicle that was seen leaving the scene of a shooting just moments before.
The shooting happened in the 200 block of Noblewood Drive. That's where officers found those 2 teens with gunshot wounds. They were taken to a hospital where they later died.
So if you know anything about that man that can help investigators find him, call police. In other news now, 560 miles. That is how far Uvalde families are traveling to change Texas. They're on a mission to get stricter gun laws passed, and they want lawmakers to raise the limit to buy weapons to 21. And they also want Governor Greg Abbott to call a special legislative session to get that done.
However, Governor Greg Abbott has continually pushed back on those calls, and today those families holding a rally and press conference in the Rio Grande Valley alongside Democratic gubernatorial candidate Beto O'Rourke. Alicia Barrera was there and joins us now live from outside the UTRGV Performing Arts Center, where that debate will be taking place.
Good afternoon. Well, several parents and family members of the victims, including of Lexi Rubio, Jackie Cáceres, Tess Marie Mata, they were all here, and they woke up early today with the purpose of getting Texans out to vote. As they say, it's important for them to make change in Texas, and they arrived to the Valley around noon today for a pre-debate press conference, and they won't be present at the debate tonight as there's not an audience for either candidate, but they felt it was very necessary to be here today to remind people of the pain and anger they're living with since the massacre at Robb Elementary. They say nothing they do will ever bring back their child. However, their hope is that their testimony leads to stronger safety in schools, new gun laws, but especially more voters at the polls.
I'm speaking directly to moms when I say our babies' lives are on that ballot. Maybe you're not a fan of either candidate, but I implore you to ask yourself, do you want to send your child off to school and have them return? Do you want to hug them every night before bed? Do you want the opportunity to watch them grow? Then vote accordingly.
A powerful testimony from those present today, and I did ask Lexi Rubio's parents what happens if Abbott does keep his seat as governor of Texas. Lexi's mom told me easily she will not give up, but how she plans to keep fighting for her daughter Lexi and other victims of the Uvalde school shooting, we'll have that coming up at 6. Reporting live in Edinburgh, Alicia Barrera, KSAT 12 News.
And once again, the debate between Republican Governor Greg Abbott and Democratic candidate Beto O'Rourke is tonight in Edinburgh. Our own KSAT's Steve Spriester, one of the panelists who will be part of that. We are also holding a virtual watch party for our KSAT insiders. Myra Arthur and Stephania will be chatting with you online. Just scan this QR code with your phone, and it'll take you right to all those details you need to know.
And now to a developing story that we're following out of Austin. You probably saw this on social media, that a hospital was on lockdown as a precautionary measure after reports of a shooting. Now, we just want to be clear, there are no reports of any injuries at this time. This happened at Ascension Seton Northwest Hospital around 12:30 this afternoon. Several ambulance and fire units were there, and we're going to let you know as soon as we learn more about this incident in Austin.
And back here at home, San Antonio police say a man is dead after he was shot while trying to rob a Northside convenience store late last night. The shooting happened around 10 o'clock at a Valero gas station on San Pedro Avenue, not far from Isom Road and Loop 410. Police say a man walked into the store and began acting like a customer, reaching for his wallet before pulling out a gun. That's when officers say the clerk saw the gun and pulled out his own weapon and shot the man. He died at the scene. The name and age of that man has not yet been released. The clerk was not injured.
And just a heads up we want to give you, there's a major road closure to tell you about. It's on Commerce Street. It's closed between St. Mary's and Soledad Streets, and it's going to stay that way through Sunday. So it's closed now, going to remain that way through Sunday. And the reason it's like that is because crews are currently dismantling a crane so that they can remove it from the area. They just want to keep it safe.
And sticking with traffic, a change for Culebra Road. It's something commuters are hoping to see. The 13-mile corridor has become a hot spot for traffic troubles. And now there are some new plans to possibly turn things around. Traffic Authority Stephen Cavazos tells us what could happen next.
Right behind me is considered one of the most dangerous roads in the Alamo City, and it's just a small stretch. We are here along Culebra Road, and although it's become a notorious place for commuters, the city of San Antonio wants you to know they are driving toward a safer solution.
I've had to avoid pedestrians a number of times. By the grace of God, I've never hit anybody. I know Culebra is a very dangerous roadway.
Alberto Virgen says he's seen it all. Virgen's law office is along Culebra, not far from Zarzamora Street on the city's west side. He's been driving along the corridor for at least 20 years and tells us it's not getting better.
Pedestrians running on the across the street without going into the crosswalks, people speeding. Man, there's always accidents.
Virgen is hoping for change.
Perhaps maybe lowering the speed limit a little bit and more patrols.
And safety is also top of mind for the city's transportation department. For the last 2 years, they've been studying the 13 miles of Culebra Road between I-10 and Loop 1604 and addressing commuter concerns. Since April, close to 600 residents have spoken out about the changes they want to see.
Crosswalks, shortening the crossing distance, doing things to slow down traffic.
Jacob Floyd is a transportation planning manager with the city of San Antonio. He says the community will now have a chance to see their vision for Culebra Road during 2 upcoming town halls.
The overall goal of the project is to provide a safe way for all users of the road to commute.
The city will share the renditions of what changes they propose. And once again, people are asked to share their thoughts. Floyd says when it comes to safety, everyone's voice matters.
Well, the community's input helps us in our decision-making process. Getting community input helps make our product better.
Stephen Cavazos, KSAT 12 News.
And staying here with traffic, we want to give you a live look outside. This is at 35 at Loop 410. Yikes. Look at all that traffic there. I think that's headed northbound.
That is.
Northbound lane right there, and you can see traffic there is brought to a crawl. So you know what? Right now, it's a good idea before you leave your home, if you happen to be headed in that direction, if you usually take 35 north, to get an app like Waze or Google or something like that so that it can guide you around that and you don't have to hit that traffic.
And bright blue sky, baby blue skies again today. Not much variety up above us. 90 degrees, the temperature right now. Dew point at 49, so still very dry air in place. That lack of humidity is going to persist for several more days. 90 in Lakey, 89 Leon Springs, Floresville at 90 degrees for the most part. We're within a degree of 90 across our area. This evening, beautiful, perfect for Friday night football. Clear, calm, comfortable as well, near 80 at 10 o'clock. And then by midnight, we're down to 73. Low humidity all night long. By the way, sunset 7:20 p.m. We're watching Tropical Storm Orlene here just west of Mexico. It's going to affect our weather a little bit starting this weekend. I'll tell you how coming right up.
It looks like a bomb went off here, to be honest with you. It's beyond what I thought was capable of happening.
Being so hardworking honestly doesn't matter. It just is destroyed and it's ruined. And then you have to start all over again. And honestly, where do you start? How do you start in this?
Tough days ahead for a lot of folks in Florida. Officials there say Hurricane Ian is set to become the largest natural disaster in that state's history. The storm leaving behind what some are calling apocalyptic damage. At least 25 people so far were killed, and search and rescue efforts continue for many more tonight. This as Ian now takes aim on South Carolina, where it made landfall a little earlier this afternoon, bringing winds of up to 85 miles per hour.
You know, you hear from those people, your heart goes out to them, you want to do something to help. Well, you can. KSAT is hosting another phone bank on Monday in partnership with the Red Cross. We're raising money to help those people that you just heard from in Florida. Now, you can call from noon to 7 p.m. Monday, and we're going to give you that number to call on Monday. Now, this whole concept may sound familiar to you because, yes, we did have another phone bank this past Monday, and that one was to help the people of Puerto Rico after Fiona ripped through that island. And you guys came through in a huge way because the final total from that event was $14,045. Wow. Just want to say thank you to everyone who donated. Still ahead on the news at 5, she was looking for a new job, but instead got scammed out of all her money. We're going to tell you how she fell victim and what you can do to protect your money.
And one of the biggest outlets on YouTube has picked a San Antonio-based architecture company to lead its plans for a new world headquarters. We'll take a look at the impressive design concepts coming up.
I'm Myra Arthur here in the KSAT newsroom, and here's what's coming up on the news at 6 o'clock today. Confusion and unanswered questions as employees, volunteers, and clients of the nonprofit Guide Dogs of Texas protested outside of the agency today. Employees there saying the work environment hasn't been good after the new CEO took over. Coming up at 6 o'clock, we hear from those employees and what Guide Dogs of Texas is doing about it. Plus,
every 3 minutes, somebody's diagnosed. Every 9 minutes, somebody's losing their life to blood cancer. So we're really trying to move the needle.
for those who are diagnosed with blood cancer, every second counts. That's why the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society hosts its annual Light the Night event. It raises money and awareness for blood cancers. And this year it is back in person for the first time since 2019. We'll tell you how you can get involved in this cause. All that and more today on the News at 6.
Looking forward to that, Myra. Thank you. Now we have a scam alert for you. With the holidays coming up, you know a lot of people are starting to look for seasonal work. Well, cyber criminals are also taking advantage because they're offering fake jobs. One college student tells 12 on Your Side's Marilyn Moritz how scammers emptied her bank account, and it all started with a text.
Elizabeth Gray searched online for a job for weeks. This one found her.
I just got a text message from a person claiming to be a textile company up in Chicago.
It was a legit construction company, and it seemed perfect. A remote data entry job paying $37 an hour.
I never got like a phone call. They just did everything in text.
They even interviewed her over a Google Chat app, and they moved fast.
they're like, oh, we're so impressed with your resume that we're going to give you a job immediately. We're going to send you all the equipment.
Except they didn't send equipment.
They actually sent me checks to buy the equipment.
2 checks totaling about $10,000, which Elizabeth deposited into her bank account. Then came another twist.
Okay, we need you to send money to this vendor on Cash App, Venmo.
When peer-to-peer payment apps didn't work, Elizabeth was told to wire the money. Then she heard from her bank. Those checks were fake.
You have no money left. Your savings is completely gone. And you now owe the bank like $2,000.
The Better Business Bureau urges job hunters to verify online job offers and beware instant hiring, interviews by messaging app, and requests for payment.
Anything they're asking for you that involves a financial transaction, a Zelle payment, a Cash App digital wallet peer-to-peer situation, that's the new trend now.
Elizabeth says she should have known better. So how did she fall for it? One word.
Desperation.
Marilyn Moritz, KSAT 12 News.
The Dallas area sports and entertainment group Dude Perfect, which has around 58 million subscribers on YouTube, is looking for a new home, and they have teamed up with San Antonio-based Overland Partners with plans for a new corporate headquarters that will feature a 330-foot tower. It is a massive project that could reach 9 figures. Inside the venue, the design concept includes 3 stories of attractions, including a Dude Perfect museum that will chronicle the group's origin story, along with restaurants and merchandise. A location for the new venue has not yet been announced. You can read more about it right now over on KSAT.com. I had to ask Adam Caskey what Dude Perfect was. And now I know.
Of course he knew.
I want to hang out with them and I just want to hang out with them. That's all I want to do.
You know what? This is a nice picture right here. Live cam right now over Elmendorf Lake Park, which is on the west side. You see it's 91 degrees. Looks really nice out there. And, you know, we're watching our friends over in Florida, feeling for them, as they continue to recover. And so we're not worried about Ian here, but we are watching another storm.
We're watching Orlean, that's in the Pacific right now, and that's going to be impacting our weather a little bit as we get into the weekend. So we have to chat about that. Otherwise, it's going to be more comfortable mornings and warm afternoons with that big 30-degree temperature spread, give or take, from the sunrise on into the warmest part of the day. All right, let's get right to it. Quiet around the Lone Star State. Again, very quiet weather. Still a little ridge of high pressure overhead, but you look off to the east on the right side of your screen, and that's what really stands out. What was Hurricane Ian making its 3rd landfall? That was today in Georgetown, South Carolina, as a Category 1. Now it's considered a post-tropical storm. And this is basically now just one big swirl of rain with a few wind gusts, 70 to 80 miles per hour. But those are going to become very rare here as every hour goes by. Mainly, this is just a big soaking rain, especially from Columbia, South Carolina, northeastward through Virginia, or North Carolina and on into Virginia as well. Rain heading toward Washington, D.C. See the remnants of it just heading due north, taking a few days, taking its time, and it's going to dump more rainfall. We are watching Tropical Storm Orlean, this little swirl just west of Acapulco, and this is going to be headed northward. Right now, max sustained winds at 65 miles per hour, likely to get even stronger, Cat 1 or Cat 2, and then approach Mazatlan, Mexico around the noon hour on Monday. At that point, it could potentially be a Category 1 hurricane. As for its impact on our weather, sometimes we get moisture from these systems that translate to rain. In this case, unfortunately, we're just going to see some high clouds. It'll add a little variety to our sky. Starting on Sunday, we'll have the high, thin cirrus clouds, the wispy clouds streaming overhead. And then on Monday, I think it'll get a little bit thicker with both a combination of mid and upper level clouds. So just a little extra cloud cover. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to utilize any of its energy or any of that mid and upper level moisture to make rainfall. That's all going to stay away from us. So that's what's unfortunate about that particular system. Sometimes we get the remnants that help us out in terms of rain. This isn't going to be the case. Just some clouds. 64 in the morning today, then a high temperature of 91, the average now 87. 93 currently in Castroville, Bernie 88, Bulverde 89, Canyon Lake 86, Divine at 91 degrees. Cotulla up to 95 now, and Del Rio at 90. Tomorrow morning, right near 60 for most of us. However, Hill Country and some other locations in outlying areas could dip down into the mid 50s. Gonzales, Seguin about 55 to 57, Comfort 57, Bulverde tomorrow 57, and even Stinson on the south side could be about 59, but around 60, give or take a few degrees. Then by the afternoon tomorrow, we jump back up into the upper 80s, right around 90 degrees. So it's another case of a situation where we have that pleasant morning where some folks may need long sleeves briefly, but you're not going to need them for long. Take a look at the 12-hour forecast. 60 at 7 a.m., then by 10 a.m., we're already 13 degrees warmer at 73. Nothing but sunshine tomorrow. By the noon hour, we're in the 80s and then right up near 90 degrees by 4 or 5 p.m. Not a whole lot of a breeze this weekend. Not much wind out there. East at 5 to 10 tomorrow. By Sunday, east-southeast at 5 to 15. Similar temperatures. We're dropping a few degrees on Sunday down to 87 for the high with the addition of the thin clouds that'll be rolling overhead. And then Monday, 86. But that's really the coolest high temperature in the foreseeable future. Most of the time, a little closer to 90.
All right, Adam, thank you.
Greg Simmons and the BGC team getting ready for another Friday night under the lights. He joins us from Comalander Stadium with a matchup between number 5 and number 6.
Yeah, you're talking about Johnson and Brandeis, and what is on the line tonight here at Comalander Stadium. We'll have that preview for you when you come back. And did NFL protocols fail Tua? This video is tough to watch. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome live to Comalander Stadium for the big game and our big game coverage tonight. Number 5 Johnson hosting number 6 Brandeis here to decide who takes over the lead in District 28 6A. Right now it's owned by the Broncos, who have a 4-1 record, 3-0 in district play, and their only loss this season against number 2 Brennan just the second week of the season. Their 4 wins are against O'Connor, Marshall, Lee, and Madison. For the Jaguars, they entered tonight's game with a 3-1 record, 2-0 in district, with their only loss with the Judson Rockets 46-43 in overtime as part of the KSAT Pigskin Classic 2022 back in August. Since that time, they've reeled off 3 straight wins against O'Connor, Churchill, and Roosevelt.
Johnson's a really good team. We're a really good team. I think it's gonna be an exciting game. Go out there, both teams just show off what we got, and hopefully we'll go away with the dub. But we'll see how it goes.
It's real important. District's always important, and if we beat these guys, it's gonna be a big jump.
I think it's good because these would be like one of the hardest teams we play. So I think if we win this, I think we have a good chance of winning district.
All right, kickoff here at Comalander, 7 o'clock. Clark and Madison over at Heroes, Stevens and Harlan at Ferris, Warren and Taft at Gus, South San against Southside at the Cardinal Stadium, Dilley and South San West at Bobcat, Somerset and Antonio, Ferrara, Medina and Brooks Collegiate at Brooks Collegiate, Lockhart and Veterans Memorial over at Rutledge, of course, Central Catholic, Geneva and Bernie, YMLA versus Holy Cross, that's at Holy Cross, Robstown and Bandera and Jerndon, Davenport and Divine, Comfort and Natalia at 7:30. Our big game coverage road trip has Larry and photographer Adam Higgins headed up I-10 with their first stop in Ingram to see more Warriors. Open District play against Cole. This down to Kerrville to catch the Antlers against Bastrop, finally pulling into center point to see if the Pirates can make Rock Springs walk that plank.
Pro football coverage powered by Davis Law Firm.
Miami Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa is back in Miami as we speak today after he had to be taken off the field on a stretcher last night in their game against the Cincinnati Bengals. And we warn you, this video is hard to watch. It happened in the second quarter when Tua is actually just thrown into the turf head first. And that happened in the second quarter. He lay motionless for several minutes with his hands convulsing, later confirmed to be a concussion by his head coach. Less than a week after suffering what appeared to be the same thing last Sunday. There are calls from players and doctors last night and today that Tua should not have been cleared to play. Don't forget to join us on the BGC app tonight for all your favorite games live by TSP. Follow that up by, of course, all the scores on the BGC.com, also on Twitter. And then join us on the night beat for all your highlights and final scores. Live from Comalander Stadium, Greg Simmons, KSAT 12 Sports.
Another busy Friday night on tap. Thanks, Greg.
We'll be right back.